recording. Okay, so I mentioned to some of the people up front, I'm covering for John this week. This is the August 3rd meeting for the MicroProfile live Hangout.
Kevin, you need to share a screen. You're not sharing yet.
No, I'm not.
You're not sharing, so you need to share the screen.
Yep, I will. Just a second.
Yeah, sorry to jump in there.
Okay, so now it's sharing, right?
Yes.
Okay, waiting for a little confirmation there. Okay, so August 3rd, the MicroProfile live Hangout. As always, please update the agenda, the minutes with your name, and please participate with trying to keep the minutes up to date. As John has done, I will try to keep it up to date as we go along with updating the minutes, but I appreciate any help that you can provide or any clarifications. So the working group update, it says by John. I don't know what he was thinking he was going to be covered here. Does anyone have anything related to the working group?
No, those are distributed on the other sides. This is mostly about the steering committee and when there are votes.
Right.
But
okay,
there are votes. Yeah, we should make it a specific ballots, things that we are called to actions. It's very vague, but that is the meaning of it.
What's our general agenda? Do we have anything filled in? Or is it all empty spots?
No, there are some things.
We've got some stuff here on the releases.
Okay.
But the rest of it is all kind of general.
Kind of empty, yeah.
Yep.
Well, maybe we have a short meeting.
Sure, cool.
Okay, so for the releases, Edwin and Emily for MicroProfile 4.1.
Yeah, so for the 4.1, and as you all know, we released the artifact to Maven Central. So this remaining bit is marketing activities. So yesterday we discussed at greater length at a marketing call. So we had a blog and also the slide deck was updated. And also we target to get like a words out this Thursday, and Ryan has to do like update the MicroProfile.io website. So I will, I will work with Ryan for the remaining bit. And basically, is a few people want to take a look at the blog and the slide deck. If you have any questions or any comments, please add the comments and question there. And we're trying to finalize on Thursday.
Okay, that sounds good. I just wanted to clarify this third bullet. I think that's supposed to be August 5th. Amelia?
Oh, yes,
says...
sorry. I am going to the next month. Vacation. I just returned from time off. Thank you, Kevin.
Yep. Okay, that sounds good for the 4.1. I'm finally getting all the little T's crossed and I's dotted to complete that one. Anybody else have any input on the 4.1 release?
I do have to say that Edwin and Emily have done a really good job with the follow-up. We have had the written documentation on how to do releases for so many years, but now under the working group, things have changed. So what we're doing is adjusting everything to put everything into one wiki that is being reviewed by everyone on the marketing side. And then we're going to do back and forth, updating the templates or the wiki for the technical releases to know everyone, especially the trainees, know how to do and how to communicate with the business side while doing the releases. And also in the marketing side, everyone needs to be aware of what goes into the technical release, maybe not in detail, and then it's also linked. So the wiki, the estimated time is maybe next week to be completed while we are going through the release right now. That means kids, tickets, and simplification. So I want to say thank you to the two of you because we definitely needed the feedback in putting everything into place. That is important because it cannot always be Emily and Edwin It needs to be other people, also technical, doing the releases, and they need to know how to do everything. That means also the media, which is important, how we communicate when something goes out.
Yep. Good, thanks.
Yeah, so with this release, this is, as you both Kevin and Amelia said, this is the first release, so we follow like a process. So we just need to make sure the process document all the steps.
Okay, so that leads right into the 5.0 update then.
Yeah, and the 5.0 actually is after the quick discussion last week, and quite a few specs made really amazing progress. Like we have a PR for the fault tolerance metrics and the health, and also the things that the PR in progress, the REST client JWT. So it's the remaining will come soon. I think is for the implementation, and quite a few specs like OpenLiberty can do the kind of transform or use the Eclipse transformer, can do the verify the TCK changes. So the major thing, I think Roberto is making good progress on the small right config front. Roberto, do you want to say anything? I saw your PR. I think you are getting into the quite good shape there.
Well, yes, I can add some details, so, and the people can actually help me on that if they see any interest. So I was looking into a way to have more like a more easy way to use stuff. So I know that some folks on Tommy Trav, especially John, contribute to the Maven plugin for the transformer, which helps in some situations, but there are some occasions, especially when you're dealing with transitive dependencies on other projects that requires migration, right? The plugin doesn't work that well, basically because it attaches the new bytecode transformation into a new classifier, right? So if you want another dependency to use the transformer bytecode, then you have to go and change the dependency tree, which is not what you expect, I guess, or at least it's gonna give you more work. So one of the things that I did, I actually wrote a Maven plugin that migrates a GAV of a project. So it allows you to have like the same source code and then create like a secondary GAV. For instance, you have foo.bar, and then you can just rename it to be like foo.bar Jakarta. And then that allows you to rename all the occurrences of that same dependency. So that allows you to actually attach whatever artifact you want with just doing the rename or changing stuff without you having to go and manually change things on your POM. So the plugin will handle things for you automatically. Now it's still on an experimental stage. I'm still trying to figure a couple of things out, but at least what I've done so far was be able to migrate some of our small right projects without doing any particular change, just using a couple of plugins. Right now, I'm just changing the source code directly, but now I'm just going to try to use my plugin that I wrote with the GAV transformation plus the bytecode transformer to see if those two play together along, and hopefully it should allow me to change both projects without having to sorry, without having to go and do like very deep changes in the POM files. So it should be able to have like a single source code base and then support both Javax and Jakarta on different GAVs and with just a single source tree. So if anyone would like to have a look into what I did, just let me know and I can point you to the right PRs or I'll ask me and we can discuss this. And if anyone would like to collaborate on that with me, just let me know.
A question for you, Roberto. I didn't catch, is this for implementations of MicroProfile or for the applications that use MicroProfile or both?
Or the
It can
spec.
actually, it could be used on anything really. So I wrote it for the implementations in mind, but it can definitely be used for applications as well.
Roberto, I haven't seen it arrive in the community forum. Are you planning to send the message with the updates there
Well,
in
well,
the
so
callouts?
this is for the smaller implementation, so he doesn't necessarily have to share if he doesn't want to, right?
It
Yeah,
would be amazing. He's asking for help.
Well, the things that I did are generic, so it's not really tied to any small Y stuff. I can share it on the community. That's okay. It's just that I'm still on the experimentation stage, and I still want to try a couple of things first.
so
We
this
ended
is
up. Go ahead, Emily. Sorry about that.
just probably we're going to say the same thing. So this is another flavor of the Eclipse transformer. So basically you use the Maven plugin directly, do the renaming.
Well,
Yeah.
it works separate, right? So one, as I mentioned, this probably will be tricky to explain, right? But the point is, how are you able to support the same or actually different binaries without changing the version? So if you change the version, you could do that, right? But then it will become weird because let's just say you have version 2 with Javax and version 3 with Jakarta. So that will lead to some of the issues that I explained earlier about Dependabot on GitHub trying to update things because it thinks like it's a new version, which it is, but it's not really compatible. And then there's a second thing, which is if for some reason you're required to do like a major version of Javax because whatever change you require, then you already burned the major version with the rename. So you get stuck into an old version. So I was thinking that it was probably more interesting to, instead of migrating the version, to migrate the GAV. So what I actually did is I rename the plugin. What it does, it renames the artifact IDs to whatever name you want. And basically what I do is on the configuration of the plugin, just say, use the same name that you have and then append -Jakarta in it. So in essence, what you get in the end is a binary, for instance, small right config version 2 with Javax, and then you have small right config -Jakarta with the Jakarta code in it, version 2 as well. And then if you want to use one, you use the GAV, small right config GAV. If you want to move to Jakarta, you just change the GAV and you're done. So that's the the main idea.
We ended up using the different version. We started with a different GAV, but then it just didn't work out. I mean, we didn't enjoy it as well. I'll just say it like that. Just because we have like our TCK setup that needs to work across both versions, regardless if it's JavaX or Jakarta. And it was easier to change the version than change the GAV, the artifact ID. Anyway, so how do you handle you're generating a new POM with the new GAV, and then do you have like some sort of table of if you see this dependency, then replace it with this dependency?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's something really, it's something really like really dumb. It's not really like that elaborate. Yeah. What I do is just, it's gonna like do like a find and replace some stuff, but just using the plugin. So you just set the pattern names of dependencies that you want to rename, and that's it. So usually we have our GAVs are usually like small right dash something. So I just say, please rename the pattern small right dash config to small right dash config dash Jakarta or something else. So in the end, you get the entire project renamed with a different gav, including the TCK module that runs the TCK. Then it's usually fine because instead of having like a single module to run both TCKs on JavaX and Jakarta, what you actually get in the end is a completely different project with a different TCK module that's pointing to the Jakarta one and runs that one. So basically what I do is, after I do all the renaming, then I do like a new build, which effectively generates new binaries of the entire project with the Jakarta rename, and then runs the TCK again against those new binaries.
Yeah, great. So I think it's a quite, yeah, I had a look. It looks quite, I mean, from the change point of view, it looks quite straightforward. If you do need some, this doesn't play out and etc., do need to use a Eclipse transformer, and yeah,
so like this is an addition to the transformer.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that sounded like.
Yeah, what I said.
It is an addition. It doesn't work differently, right?
Yes.
So right now, one additional thing that I'm doing is not using transformer yet, so that's something I want to use later. So right now I'm just changing the Jakarta package directly on the source and then recompiling with a new gav.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Right.
FYI, if you run into a situation where you've got some, well, okay, all your source, well, I think all your source code is under your control. So, you know, if you have like, if the string starts with JavaX, do this, otherwise do that, and then you need to add an else if it starts with Jakarta or something like that. It's probably in code that you control, so it's okay. But we had several situations where there were like other projects that we didn't control. And so we ended up writing a plugin that would allow you to basically patch random source files. So we could add, you know, a couple tweaks here and there that would be, you know, that are just not covered by the transformer because they're not really transforming. It's actually just straight up adding logic to the code.
Yeah, that's why I want to have like.
If you need that, we wrote it, so we can probably put that in a more neutral spot if it's something that you end up needing. So just heads up.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. So my next step is to actually now combine both that plugin that I wrote plus the transformer to see how it looks like as well, instead of doing the source transformation, trying out with the bytecode transformation as well, and the gav rename. So that's a thing that I want to work this week.
Yeah, so it's so we did open kind of the PR with some help on the Eclipse transformer. If you need further help, and etc., just let me know. So also we could play some if it's a transformer Maven plugin, if it doesn't work well. Also, it's I think it's maybe a good opportunity to add some support on the Maven plugin aspect in the Eclipse transformer. It's great. It's yeah, good progress with implementations.
Yeah, thanks, Roberto. I wanted to back up just a little bit, Emily, on your entry here. Didn't quite understand this. The TBD impulse to plan consume the APIs.
Consume the APIs from the MicroProfile Jakarta the releases. So basically, it's we have done the RC release for the config. So basically, we need an implementation to consume that to prove it can pass all the TCK changes and etc.
Okay. So yeah. You're not only talking about the platform, but then each of these individual implementations need to consume the updated APIs.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that compatible implementations. So that's why the Roberto is working on the smaller eyes. So we really need to release MicroProfile config first, and so that other spec can kind of build against of it, against this released API changes.
Okay, good.
Go ahead, Kevin.
No, I was thanking her for that clarification. What's up, Amelia?
No, I was also confused, the TBD. Emily, if you can write a little bit more explanations and avoid abbreviations, especially when we talk about technical stuff, that would be great. I understand that the technical calls get into depth this part, but like I said last time, and I'm not going to go into details again, definitely I asked those of you attended the technical calls to be kinder to those of us that do not attend and get used to over communicating via the forum. Like Roberto is working in something amazing that is not only biased to his company implementation, that it can help something else. Some of us have worked on it too, and we can collaborate in a more neutral environment, but it's only possible if the information lands into the community forum. We need to over communicate on the technical side and bring it into writing. Even if no one replies, you know, you can add the link here and we can refer it and we can push it. And the last call out I would say about this is that sometimes when we're working on the technical side, especially on 5, we should be getting used to submitting tickets and saying, we're working on 5 right now. We're looking for anyone who wants to contribute. That is something that we need to be doing. Some microprofilers that are not in this call are contacting me privately saying, hey, I want to contribute to 5. How do I do it? But it's not my job to enable them. So I said, you have to join the call and ask, or go into these tickets. We should be publishing this out. I believe that those that are technical should be writing the tweets that we can push and make it so that there is a PR that is important. Let's push that kind of thing. This is important because it's 5 and it's a way for us to gather and to welcome new technical microprofilers. 2020 was really hard for MicroProfile and now we're back. So let's have fun, right? It's missing out and I don't want to enable people alone.
Yep.
I think we can do better.
You should tell them to hit the list, by the way.
I do. All of them
Okay.
have hit the list, all of them.
Good.
And I'm not helping them in private. I don't do that.
Yeah. If just send a note to the list, say, I want to help. I don't know where to start. What advice can you give me?
They don't feel comfortable because there's over 1,200 people, but they are joining that marketing call that is.
Well, that's you know, they need to find the bravery, right?
I know.
Because that's just open source, right?
And,
so,
exactly.
And even though there's that many people subscribed, I mean, there aren't that many that
active
would jump in and help. So I mean, it's still a small team.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
the coolest
exactly.
thing, I don't enable them to be in private. You already know. If it's not scalable, it's not happening with me. That's it.
Yep.
I'm not that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on MicroProfile 5?
Did we pick a tentative date for that? So I guess Q4 2021. I'm assuming we got December 7th. So our compatibility program is going to be done by then, I would assume.
We picked this date is because we could at the
Live
beginning
stream.
it says hit for October release, and then I think Roberto brought up is saying is a summer holiday. That's true, and then 1 month off, and then it's kind of is nearly pushed to November, and then it's the Jakarta One Live is going to set 7th December. It would be nice to release that.
Do we want to change that date to be like November 15th or something like that? Because in the US there's Thanksgiving, you know, and no one likes to be crunching a deadline after the middle of November.
Yeah, sounds good. Is it do we need to say is the 17th is the 3rd Wednesday? Or maybe we hit on the 22nd to
like the week before Thanksgiving, because a lot of people take that week of Thanksgiving off. So
Oh, okay.
before Thanksgiving, we should probably wrap, have the votes up at least. You know what I mean? We can be voting that time period, but
Yep.
Yeah, good point. When's the Thanksgiving? Sorry.
The last Thursday before the last Friday. I don't.
Last Thursday before, so that 25th.
It's whenever Google tells it tells me.
Yep.
We never know.
Yeah, in this case, probably 15th. That sounds like a good date.
Mhm.
So, Emily, this kind of gets back to, if you remember, I think it was, 2 weeks ago when we were talking about the 4.1 release. I think this is where, the technical team needs to also work with the marketing team. So when does marketing want to, announce this? And then when will the technical team try to be done with everything before that point so that there's enough time for them to prepare for it?
Right. And this is a fine time to have that kind of direction.
Mhm.
Yep.
So
Go ahead.
I'm looking at the week of November, Thanksgiving's the 25th this year. So we could, as long as we had stuff up by the 19th, that'd be the Friday. And maybe we want to aim at a Thursday or something like that, just whatever. So it's just a little bit of a flex. Anyway, so the last week of productivity in November is the week of the 15th, ending on the 19th.
Mhm.
So sometime in that week would probably be a good deadline. So, we could just pencil in like the 18th or 19th, something like that. In terms of an actual marketing launch, I suspect it would not be the week after because it's Thanksgiving. So it would probably be the week after that, which would put us in the kind of, marketing can decide that basically,
I think if we agree that all the technical side can be done, the marketing side is super easy because we work on review, blogs, and the presentation. There are two major items, and then we update. And Tatiana and Ryan are the ones who have done the updates on the website. They know that it gets to be a little bit time consuming. However, if we are done on the 15th, we could publish on the 18th. That means
that's a terrible.
Yeah, but that means that all the hard work in the marketing side has been done the week before, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Because when the technical side is done, we are reviewing and changing stuff.
Well,
So
Kevin, I would keep that. I would keep that information.
Yeah.
I put it down here.
Oh, okay. Okay, never mind. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
The thing is, when we say technical deadline, are we saying 18th we put up for the vote, or we are saying vote finish?
Both finish.
I was saying put up for a vote personally, so that we'd have all votes, in great shape being voted on. They could go for 1 week or 2 weeks, doesn't, either one. And it would still give us plenty of time to line up and do some, line up with Jakarta 1, right? If we wanted to do that, which I think would be wise.
I think if we put up on the vote, I agree. I think it may be better to say your first suggested date, like 15th, so that people have 1 week at least to go through the vote. We can have the vote up for 2 weeks, and then we can conclude on the 29th. And then in the kind of we can do the marketing and etc.
You sound like Kevin. I'm fine with that.
But you need to make technical deadline, and then marketing needs to start, or at least send the tickets on that day. That means that someone will have to be working, I imagine, in Europe with the blog and presentation, which is not too long. We have templates for everything. And when we return, some of us, those ones that decide to help on the release, can do so in the States after the holidays.
Well, to be honest, the marketing work can happen all throughout October, because we'll have a pretty good idea of what's going to be released. So people can write blog posts and stuff like that. The scope of the 5.0 release is pretty narrow.
Yeah,
right? So all that stuff can happen early. It's really just, what is the day that we want to do that we want to click the button and publish everything. And, you know, that should be not during or immediately before a major holiday, in my opinion.
Yes.
But, you know, that's something that can be discussed on the marketing, you know, calls between, you know, now and then, and you guys can come up with some kind of plan. I would recommend that as long as there's a thing going on December 7th, you know, sometime that week or the week before would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's an
Sorry, Emily. Tatiana, how do you feel about like you led the release for or I don't even remember the one in December and holidays on the 23rd. How do you feel about leading this one so that we can enable others that have never done a release to help us?
Well, as David mentioned, I think this will not be a problem for me to publish or make some changes in the website during the day of the official release. As far as we have the blog posts ready and everything like ready in the draft format. Okay. So for sure, I will be helping with that, and I can push out that during the European time if needed.
Great. Solved. Thank you, Tatiana. You rock.
Yeah, thank you. As David said, actually, it's for the marketing activity blog and etc. We can start working on that from 15th November, because when we put up on the vote, nothing will change. So it's we just do all the blog and deck and get everything in place. So it's once vote through, and early December we just get together and push the button for the marketing.
Yeah, and I recommend even before the 15th of November, because we already know the scope. So
that would be my preference.
You know, take as much time as, you know, you could write it tomorrow if you wanted.
Yeah, that would be my preference, but you see, it's just easier. Do we move? It's like MP5 has used a lot of space, but it has been good. And then I did not hear anyone say, hey, I will send gift tickets with tweets of the work we're doing to push out less vacuum into media. So please consider submitting. You know, we have Rudy here, we have Emerson, we have Roberto, we have Ed, we have Martin, hello, we have Majid, they want to contribute. Submit the tweets so we can tweet via media and, you know, bring others on board.
So for the marketing announcement, can we also pencil in a date to say, maybe say 1st December? So it's kind of
it doesn't work, Emily. We are in holidays.
Well, why don't you guys nail this down on the marketing call between now and then, so that you don't have to you can suggest dates now, but you know, I would like you guys meet, so.
Yeah, let's talk over there. It's enough for us. We have consumed enough time with MP5, and it's 11:38. Kevin, I'm trying to help here.
Yeah.
With time. I'm like, what? Kevin, you're being so nice. Don't do this.
Well, no. The reason is because the rest of the agenda is kind of like, well, if someone has an update, then we can talk about it.
Yeah, that's right. We can end it here now. This is really good.
Well, no, we still have some time, but that's why I was letting this go.
I think we had a question during the marketing call that we wanted to discuss here about the compatibility logo.
Correct. We have that one that is coming. It's added to the agenda.
Okay, it's lower.
Do we want to go there now, or?
I think that there are no other, as far as I see, there are no other big questions so far.
We can tick through the sections and see if there's anything.
Yeah, there's another, the specification process. So there's a kind of I put some oh no, this one won't don't need to do. Okay, you can go through marketing, and then there's a technical like a category we can discuss briefly about technical goals.
Okay, so not the specification process.
No, that's will be for next week.
Okay, community outreach. I know I'm listed there. I don't have anything new. Emerson, anything on your part?
No, actually, no progress recently.
Okay, anything new with the budget area?
No, after it got approved, we were just settling down, and now we're going to start updating the t-shirts. I'm wearing the t-shirt, and we have not updated it with the partners logos under the working group. So the back is going to change. And we need to talk on the marketing side about, once we're done with the compatibility things, I pushed on the idea a few months ago that we should have a implementation t-shirt, and because it would be nice to have it in the back for all the implementations, and like that, continue to change it just like we do with the members. It would be fun, but that needs to be approved and actually thought out with the community. So we will talk over in the marketing side and then push it into the community forums for extra feedback to see if there is a bandwidth for a second t-shirt with the same front and in the back, but we have not talked about it. But this was discussed like early this year, and the level of, it will be nice, but there are no tickets because there are no tasks yet, but we will use the money well. We have a little bit over 20,000, and we have many JAGs and many speakers ready to use, hopefully, the new t-shirt. It's time for an upgrade.
Okay. Marketing. I don't know who drives this one. It says Debbie and Stewart.
Every month. Rudy, Debbie said yesterday that she will talk with you. I'm not sure if you're prepared.
Yeah, she updated me on a few things. So there was mainly discussion, and that was already mentioned on that compatibility logo for voting or not voting. But there is still that discussion open around, is there only one compatibility logo or are there multiple? Because you have maybe a logo for each spec, or only for the overall platform one. That was one thing, but I guess we can continue on that compatibility in a moment. And then another thing was the marketing steps involved for each new release to make that easier, and that was also already mentioned. So she proposed already something, so I guess that can be discussed next time.
Tatiana, do you want to take it here? Because Ryan, are we done with the PDF? And we're ready for a vote, right, Ryan? Do you want to show up what we have the latest with Emerson final review?
Okay, so wait, are you jumping to the compatibility?
Yeah.
Because Rudy is saying that Rudy already presented it here, and that is actually in branding, and it is the most important topic that we have between branding and marketing.
Yeah, just like a heads up, that's all we need.
Yep.
Yeah.
That we're switching.
Yeah.
Yep.
Rudy, is there anything else from Debbie?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, you nailed it. Yeah.
So it's for the platform or only a component for that, the thread that David started. A few of us shared kind of some opinions, and I think it's kind of, maybe we do a platform only first, and then if there's a get that complete, and then if there's a request on the component logos, and then we can get that done. Is it where to go next? Are we going to do a voting on a working group, and what's next?
We haven't decided. This is
well,
why
I think we probably do need to vote just to get it nailed down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we probably want to get some details down. One of the things is, there will be extra trade. If we have two logos, let's put it this way, there's a cost to getting one logo through the trademark process because it has to hit North America and Europe. I know those are the two main areas that Eclipse does, Canada, North America and Europe. So, if we get one logo through that process, there's a cost to that. Let's do the imaginary extreme case that every spec had its own logo. Well, it's going to be multiple times that cost. So 2 logos, still more cost than 1 logo.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we want to establish what some you know, I hate to bring this up, but I don't know if we want to get some like kind of numbers behind that so we can have an educated choice, or if we just want to say, hey, it's more cost, I don't want more cost right now.
Yeah, we can, David, we can ask the Eclipse Foundation via the working group if we're ready to go for a vote.
Yeah, every time we do that, it's not really a pleasant experience.
It's not a pleasant experience, but it doesn't mean that we need to stop and be deterred. That is when something goes to die, correct? So we will ask. My recommendation is that either I can volunteer to ask because maybe someone else is uncomfortable.
I would prefer somebody else ask.
And exactly, that will be my volunteering because everyone knows here well, I don't like nonsense and deviations from answering a question that is pretty simple to answer. So does anyone else would like to take this task to send a message to the working group and say, how much will it be to send
two
one
versus
logo
one.
or two, right?
We already, yeah, anyway, so that's the question we would need to know. The
Yeah,
answer
so
we would need.
I can ask it. I don't care about that. The thing that I'm wondering about, my guess, is that until we do this once, they're probably not going to have a definite answer for us.
Right.
And so I'm almost wondering, you know, do we just go ahead with the platform, figure out what the cost is, and then we know what that base cost is for the multiple components? But
That would be my
we can
preference.
still ask.
Yeah, but that's sort of my preference at the moment. But if people feel strongly the other way, and you know, then I'm fine for that to be part of the, you know, what we go and do. We just need to know what the costs, or an estimate at least, you know, so that the people who vote for that can vote for it, knowing that, you know, it's going to probably take this much out of our budget for it. And is that worth it for you?
Right. The other thing is the kind of the platform one that's must have. For the component one is optional. The other thing is, do we know there's a kind of request to want this component, like a logo? If there is, yeah, we go ahead to ask. If it's a kind of people don't care about it, so why we kind of why not wait for that like a requirement to come in first, and then we can proceed with that.
Yeah, the Eclipse Foundation EMO is off this week. So even when we send the feedback, it's not going to get here. We cannot start a vote until we get some results. We have $13.5 thousand for trademark and includes one logo. If you go with 2 logos, we will need to know how much will it be. Will it be 1,000? Or will it be, because it's not distributed?
Not going to be 1,000, but
exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about. We have everything included with the platform is 13.5 and it's done. Like personally, I don't care about a second logo, but I am totally willing to be convinced because components, you know, these kind of things. I'm not sure if anyone else has an opinion.
The question right now, are we blocked right now to vote for the initial main logo, compatibility logo? Should we wait to get all those answers and whatever, and decide on what types of logos and how many of them we want to have? Or should we proceed to the voting and choose one logo that will be used like the main compatibility logo, and later, when we get all the answers, like in a week, in 2 weeks, or whatever, and we will have already the decision from the community what kind of logo they prefer. Later, if we decide to go on with 2 logos or 3 logos, we can just create extra logo in the same design, like in similar design, adding some extra sign or whatever, and we don't need to vote one more time or something like that. So I think that for the moment we are already not blocked by these decisions in order to vote for what we already have, in order to move further with this compatibility logo question.
I fully support that.
Yeah, so I think we definitely should go ahead with one logo first. And then in the meanwhile, in parallel, like we explore the ideas to have multiple logos as for education purpose. I think we should go ahead to finalize the platform logo and move forward.
Ryan, do you want, sorry about this. Ryan, do you want to update us on that? I know that you and Emerson were working on.
Well, just before we wrap that up, Sky was advocating for going to logos now, and that was in the thread where Kevin did say we could just go ahead and add that later. So I think probably we do want some sort of just, you know, vote to say, I'd like to move forward and we can evaluate this separately.
Yeah, we do need a vote before.
Just you know, to make sure that people feel heard. Although last time I organized a vote, it didn't work out so great, but or
Someone
maybe
else can do
sort
it.
of worked out, I guess. But anyway, are people okay with that?
Yep.
Yeah, sounds good. So who will start the vote then?
I'll kick it off because I started the thread, so I should follow through.
Mm-hmm. Remember that for the votes needs to be the working group forum.
So David, you're going to kick off a vote on the mailing list or here?
Mailing list.
Okay.
The working group mailing list, right?
I just wanted to inject. I think there's a problem with the mailing list server at Eclipse. So
oh, really?
I don't think you can start anything right now.
Okay.
It's not working?
I don't think it's working.
Okay, and Chris is out with his team. There is no way.
We'll do it next week then. It's fine. There's no real rush.
I mean, hopefully they'll get it fixed. I put in a ticket, but since they're all on vacation, I don't know what the.
Well, let's give them some time to attend to all that stuff next week, and then we can kick off a vote. Then we're not really rushed. You know, we just need to make sure we can at least get the platform compatibility program started. So because you know, honestly, the time to do the trademark stuff is not instantaneous, so we can't really drag this out into November. We won't give much time for it actually to be executed. So
yes. So then that means that we can start the vote maybe hopefully by next week, early next week, and David is going to do it. And Tatiana and Ryan, do you have anything to say about the designs? Are you and Emerson happy with the latest work from last week?
Well, his designs have been updated into the drive, onto the PDF. If anyone wants to see that PDF, I will put it quickly here in the chat before this call ends. And it's good to go. We just need to decide how we're gonna have people vote, and we'll create the correct images that will for the voting format. I guess it's gonna be what is it? What's the common survey?
SurveyMonkey is usually.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or whatever we choose. So I'll format the logos so it's ready for that. And then we'll see how the votes turn out.
And Tatiana and everyone here, do you believe that it's a good idea to have the MPWG working call for trademark so we can tackle this on Monday, even if it takes us 30 minutes, and just have everything tackled whatever we find this week? We don't have a ticket for exactly preparing SurveyMonkey, and maybe we start the thread and see who wants to own that kind of research, because we haven't done that since the summer 2017 when we chose this logo via community vote. So it's been a while.
Considering the call, first of all, we need to figure out what will be the agenda, because for now, there is a clear task, first of all, to decide within the MicroProfile community if they are okay to start voting, and David will cover that. This is already decided. And the other point is to make the voting process already, to make this. And as far as I understand, this task goes to Ryan. Yes, Ryan, is it you who's going to work on that?
With
work on what? Sorry, I spaced out.
With this voting system and this stuff, like how to do that.
I guess so. I guess it'll be me. That's fine.
Yeah, we don't have the ticket yet because we needed to decide, can we vote on this to make sure that we're not doing something without an actual vote by the steering committee, because this is important, it's a trademark. But now that that is coming, on Monday, I believe that we can tackle this and help Ryan come together and see whatever else he finds this week that maybe blockage him. And then we figure it out. Ryan, if you can create a ticket and pull us in, assign it to many of us, that is great. I'm right there with a bunch of us.
Yeah, no problem. I'll take care of it tonight or tomorrow morning.
Sounds wonderful. And there is no rush because we need the vote first. Okay.
Okay. Oh, okay, there. Someone already put a link in there. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the one observation I had there, I mean, I thought they all looked nice. Do we have a large enough community to be voting on 5 different ones, or are we going to dilute the vote by having 5 choices?
Are we going to do a ranked choice voting? Because that could solve it right there.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
very good, David.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is no issue. Last time we had even more than 8 in 2007, more than 8. We have more, and we still got a winner, and everyone felt heard. We have closed the
ranked choice voting would be perfect for this because I mean, you know, I have some of them that I like multiples of them, and it's difficult for me even to decide. So it's like you know, if I could rank them, that would be perfect.
SurveyMonkey provides that that capability, and if we need to pay for it, Ryan, you know that we have the budget and we have a buffer. So create a ticket, pull us in, educate us, move on.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, we just have a few minutes left, and I think
nothing on the infrastructure website side of the fence at the moment.
Okay, I was going to skip right over that anyway because I thought Emily had something on the technical goals that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, so for the technical goals, so basically is last week we kind of discuss the relationship between MicroProfile config and Jakarta config. So it's the kind of we are going to have further conversation on the CN4J, and there's a couple proposals. One proposal is being originated by me and also Scott. So it's and then later on it's being being advocated and by Kevin, Edwin, and David. So basically, it's we are trying to see how can we move forward. Make sure like 2 communities can work together in a really good ecosystem way. So if anyone have any questions and comments, feel free to add comments there on the link. I don't know whether anybody else want to say anything for that.
I just put a comment in there about the CN4J call. That's for next week. I'll find the details on the call and put that in the minutes.
Mm-hmm. Kevin, I will create a folder. I created a folder for the messaging, but now I'm going to I moved it to the private, whatever, not private, but the community where all the 2 student communities can have access to it. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the document into the MicroProfile call minutes, CN4J, so they can be there as a standard. Everyone can have access. I will create that, and then I can add it into the agenda on the calendar for you to do whatever you need to do. And Emily, can you submit a Git ticket saying, there is just a description of the call, because we don't have an agenda, quote unquote, and we can just schedule it and tweet it. We tweet all the calls for CN4J. No call has been gone without media, and that goes the day of. And it's important. Some people join the moment of because they see the tweets and they want to know what is happening. So if you can do that, that would be great. And Kevin, I will create the agenda because we don't have really an agenda created or space.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. As always, we always use up the time that we have.
I know. I'm thinking we're going to end early. Oh.
That's how we don't end early. Just say that. It's a sunny day out. Bet it's not going to rain.
Okay. So anything else?
This is also for CN4J. We have the messaging and it's already added to the MicroProfile working group page under knowledge. The messaging that was approved by both communities, Jakarta and MicroProfile, has been updated into, thanks to Ryan, has been updated to the website. And now we need to push it over media, and that is happening next, right?
Okay.
Because
we're supposed to make use of that thing. We didn't just draft it for no reason. So
right.
So this week we have already added it. Ryan did it, finished it this morning. The ticket is here. And then now we just need to push it over media, like we push everything else, like prospectus, the charter, the project, the yearly project, and even the budget got added into the working group page as well this week. But now we need to push it so there's level of transparency. And there are some things that usually we don't talk about it in this call, but we're doing our best through media to educate everyone. You're a little bit bored, you are in Twitter, you're on Facebook, you're on LinkedIn. There we are, pushing the same content 24/7.
Is that being handled in the marketing calls?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's being handled with that and get tickets. There is no work that gets done without get tickets and conversation.
Yep. All right. Well, let us know how things go.
Okay. I think we're done for the week. Next week will be the technical call. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kevin. You did amazing. And you were wearing the t-shirt. Love it. Look at you.
Yeah, it's not the MicroProfile one, but
still, it's good.
Super awesome. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.